Hi everyone, for Market Minutes today we're going to look at ALAB. I was asked about this and I love looking at new stocks, so I figured I'd look at it. I always like to do three things. I'd like to look at the latest earnings, the current valuation, and then other elements or things to consider. And then I do this for fun. I would love to hear what you guys know or think or, that I missed. I love learning about the companies and the stocks and everything out there. So we'll start with the latest earnings. I'm just going to go straight to their financials. There's a hyperlink at the top, and I should have selected that, but I didn't realize it was going to be. They're usually right in the front. Okay, here we go. All right, so this is the balance sheet. I'm going to look at the income statement first. So we'll see right here, revenue costs. So that's a pretty strong gross margin right off the bat. That's pretty good. A strong gross margin is really good for growth stocks. I kind of like looking at as, because you can't always value every stock the same. If you're looking at a new company, you kind of want to be looking at their sales growth. If you're looking at like an emerging company, you want to look at their gross margin. If you're looking at like a cash cow, that's when you start looking at the earnings per share and whatnot. And so you kind of look at different things. I don't know where this one's at, but I'd say right here, that's a good gross margin. And on top of that, look at that sales growth. That revenue growth doubled in 1 year. That's pretty crazy. The cost revenue doubled as well, but that's pretty impressive. And then you look at the operating expenses. This is their research, so they research. It looks like that increased by about 50%. The sales and marketing actually went down. That's interesting. You don't see that very often. When you see revenue doubling like that and the sales and marketing went down, that's pretty impressive. And then G&A also went down. That's also because a lot of times you'll see when the revenue grows like this, you'll see the G&A balloon up, and that did not happen for this company. So that's great. And then you can see they have their operating income. So they're making money now from compared to last year. So that's great. And then they have some interest income on top of that. I wonder what that's from. Maybe there's some marketable securities or something. And we'll look at more what this company is. I just like to look at the earnings first. And then strong net income, good earnings per share. So that's a strong income statement. That's pretty solid. I usually only look at the balance sheet for like companies that are burning cash, which this one is not. But already right there, look at that. That's a lot of marketable securities, and that's where this interest income is coming from. So not business related, but that is a lot of cash on hand. And they're making money too. So that's pretty nice. And then, yeah, no debt. Strong balance sheet. Well, so yeah, strong balance sheet, strong income statement. It's pretty cool. We'll look at the valuation now. And we'll kind of look at the company here too, just to see what it is. It's a semiconductor. That makes sense. That's why their gross margin is so good. Cloud and artificial intelligence. This is going to be an AI play. Cool. All right, let's look at this summary. So we got a market cap of 20 billion. And then a PE ratio of 96. So that's a pretty high PE ratio right there. Which isn't super great. That's a very high PE ratio. I want to look at their competitors. Let's say I can do it here. I wanted to try out MSN here to see how it works, but that I can tell you right there that P ratio of 96, that's pretty high. But I'll just have ChatGPT do it. What does the P ratio of a And by the way, if it does have a very high P ratio, that doesn't always mean that it's bad. Because if you have a company that had sales growth of 100% over a year, you're going to have a pretty high PE ratio because the market's going to assume that it will continue growing like that. And so right now it's trailing is 95 to here, forward is 50. So this is actually not bad compared to its competition. This valuation isn't bad. Well, I guess if they're saying if this is trailing PE ratio, then it is. It actually is pretty bad. If I'm reading what it's saying right. So these must be the trailing P ratio. So it is higher in the valuation. But if it keeps growing, then that's not an issue. Yeah. So earnings are expected to grow quickly. So okay. So it's expensive. The valuation is expensive, but it doesn't mean that it's overvalued necessarily. Because if you're growing like they are, with that sales growth, and I think when we were looking, they had a pretty big net income here. Like, look at this. They kept basically about 20% of their total revenue. That's pretty good. That's not bad. So, cool. Other things that we could look at that I can think of, I can't think of anything. If this is an AI play or semiconductor, it's in a hot sector, which can help it. And the only other thing that I can think of is I like to look at the institution. So institutions are buying, continuing to buy. Looks like insiders are selling quite a bit, so you don't like to see that. I wish this would show me, and I can check, but I wish it would show me how many shares they own total, because let's say that whoever this guy is, if he owns 200K shares, this is nothing. But yeah, there's some bigger insider sales, which I don't love to see, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's terrible. Can you tell me more about the insider transactions at ALAB? So, strong net selling for relative new. Yeah, okay. The CEO, director, and the general counsel. Okay, so this is saying general counsel. Don't worry about it. Look at this though. This guy bought a lot. I don't always read too much into that, but it's just something kind of to watch. I'm gonna ask, what is the short interest? Okay, so that's not really anything. It's not too much. Yeah, this one's interesting. Give me a chart. So you're below some of these averages. Down 26% in the last 3 months. I want to ask one more question. What are upcoming catalysts for ALAB? Earnings, AI demand, customer ramp, hyperscaler partnerships, margins and profitability. Okay. Yeah, this one's interesting. I think it's in a good sector. I really like that revenue. I think they have a strong income statement and balance sheet. The valuation for me is a little scary, but the chart, as a recent IPO, the chart, I mean, maybe this isn't a terrible time to buy. Now there's going to be all of you in watching this that knows how to read these 50 MAs and 20-week MAs. They're gonna know all the right entry points, and this is below it right now. So fill me in on what I'm missing there. I generally only focus on fundamentals, but entry points are important, very important. You can enter a really good company at a bad price, and it can ruin the experience for you. So yeah, there's ALAB. So thanks for the suggestion. I really enjoyed looking at it, and let me know what I'm missing or not thinking of.